please feel free to ask. Models, auxiliary verbs, etc. Yeah. So in tense, tense is something very important actually, as in most times we make mistakes with tense. It is all, I mean, even with simple present or past, we tend to make mistakes with tense. So to put it very simple, you know what a present tense is. Something which is happening now is present. Past is something which has happened before. The action has ended, that is past. Future is something which is about to happen or which will happen sometime in the future. So that will be the future tense. And in these three tenses, we do have three distinctive forms, I mean 4 distinctive forms: simple, simple present, simple past, simple future. Then there is continuous, simple continuous or continuous simple, we can say, past continuous, future continuous. So we looked till continuous, simple and continuous. So what happens when you are using a continuous? Then we will be using the ing form of the verb. I am studying, or I am writing, I am walking, I am running, it's raining. These all become simple present continuous, past continuous, it's a temporary situation that existed in the past. So it was raining yesterday. I was reading a book. I was watching a movie. This all becomes past continuous. Then future continuous is when something that will surely happen in the future. That is when we use future continuous. Something, so an activity that will begin in the future. So he will be teaching, it will be raining, I will be going, I'll be going there tomorrow, or she will be singing in the competition. All these becomes future continuous. Now comes simple perfect. So what is a simple perfect tense? So something that has already happened. So we are talking about something which has already happened without specifying when it occurred. We are not saying when it happened, but we are talking about something that, or the action is already complete, but when we are not saying when the action got completed. That is when we use present perfect, or something that happened or started in the past and is now complete. Or when you are talking about something which the action has begun in the past and it has completed just now. So so here we will use to indicate present perfect, we will always use has or have after the subject. So they have taught, she has taught, or he has taught. So they have taught. So have is the present form, and when you say he has taught, has is the present form, and it is continuous. It is it is perfect. Perfect, simple perfect. So I have taught English. I'm not saying when, or she has learned music. We are not specifying when it happened, but we are saying that the person has learned music. So we are talking about something, the action is over, but we are not specifying when it happened, or something which has completed just now. The class got over. The class got over an hour ago. Then we are talking about present perfect. Or the movie got over a while ago. We are again not specifying a particular time, we are just saying a while ago. So that is when perfect comes. Just give me a moment. Okay, so present perfect. We use has or have. If it is singular, he has or she has, they have, it goes like that. Now, what is past perfect? Past perfect, we use it to describe a situation or activity that took place before another past activity. So we use past perfect. So don't get confused here. Present perfect, we are talking about something that happened or the action has just completed, but we are not specifying any time, or we are not talking about when it happened. Past perfect is when we are talking about something that has happened in the past before another action started. So there it becomes. Example would be, again, we must use, instead of, now it is past perfect. So instead of has, it will become had. Plural will always have. Okay, so she or he had. Sorry, here it is again. There is only had here. Whether it is singular or plural, it is always had. They had. So she had learned music before learning music. That could be an example. She had learned music before learning music. So we are talking about something that happened in the past, but and that past is something before another action started happening. So she had learned music before she began learning the dance. So that is past perfect. So they had. That's how it will become. So and then comes to future perfect. So future perfect is something to indicate a completed activity at a particular time in the future. So an activity that will be at a particular time, that will be completed at a particular time in the future. So again here it will be will plus have. So he will have bought the book if you had reminded him. So this becomes future perfect. Hope there is no confusion with the continuous term and the perfect term, because in continuous we will always be using ing, and in perfect we don't use the ing form of the verb, and always have to look at this this particular usage. If it is present perfect, we will always use has or have. Past perfect, we will always use had, whether it is singular or plural, we will always use had. Future perfect, we will use will have. Again, whether it is singular or plural, it will always be will have. Now coming to the next form, which is perfect continuous or continuous forms of this. So present perfect continuous. So this will be used to indicate an activity that started in the past and is still in progress. Something that started in the past, but it is still in progress, or activities repeated until the present, expressing duration of an action. So this usually tells you about the duration of an action. Again here it will be has, have plus ing form of the verb. So what could be an example? It has been raining since afternoon. So has been, yeah, has, have, has, have plus been plus ing form of the verb. That's how perfect continuous terms are used. So when it comes to present perfect continuous, it is either has or have plus been plus ing form of the verb. It has been raining since afternoon. He has been preparing for the exam since the last 6 months. So the action is not complete actually, it is still happening, but it started in the past. It's going on, but it started in the past. But when it comes to they have been planning for the trip since, say, 2 weeks. So has, have plus been plus ing form of the verb, that becomes present perfect continuous. Again, explaining to you once again, present perfect continuous is something that started in the past, but it is still continuing now. The action is still going on. It has not ended. Now comes past perfect continuous. So this is used, unlike the present perfect continuous, past perfect continuous, we use it to describe an activity that happened over a period of time up to a particular time in the past. So something which had happened over a period of time in the past, over a particular period of time in the past. The continuity or duration of an activity, it will tell you the continuity or duration of an activity. So here it will be whether it is singular or plural, I, we, they, he, has, anything, plus here it will be I, he, she, they, it, plus had plus been plus ing form of the verb. So instead of has or have, we will be using had been. So before, in present perfect continuous, it was has or have been. Here past perfect continuous, it will be had been. So and then we will talk the difference between the past perfect the present perfect continuous and the past perfect continuous is again that present perfect continuous talks about an action which started in the past but it is continuing now. Past perfect continuous talks about an action that started in the past and that also ended in the past, but we will be specifying the time duration. So it had been raining since the last 2 months. So when you say had been raining since the last 2 months, it means that now it is not raining anymore. But if you are saying it has been raining, then the rain is still continuing, it is still raining. But if you say it had been raining since the last 2 months, sorry, here we will use not since, we will use for. So it had been raining for the last 2 months or the past 2 months. It means for the 2 months before it had been raining. So now it is not raining anymore. Or they had been waiting for the bus for the past or last 2 hours. So they had been waiting for the bus for the past or the last 2 hours means the bus has now arrived, but they had been waiting for the bus. So here again, whether it is singular or plural, it is always had. But when it comes to present perfect continuous, then depending on whether the subject is singular or plural, it will be has or have. So he and she will always become he, she, it will always be followed by has. I am talking about present perfect continuous. And they and I and they will always be followed by have. Now comes the third one, the future perfect continuous. So what would this be? Here it will always be I, we, he, she, they, it, subject plus will have been plus the ing form of the verb. So here, whether it is singular or plural, it is always will be here will have been plus ing form of the verb. So this is used to indicate the duration of a continuing activity at a particular time in the future. We'll use this to indicate a continuing activity, an activity which will be going on at a particular time in the future. So here it will be I will have been let's use a better example. I will have been teaching English if I had passed the net, if I had cleared the net or passed the net. I will have been teaching English if I had passed the net. All right. Now let's look at a few examples and see which would be the correct usage, which would be the correct tense to use in particular situations. Okay. 4 generations of his family in that house for over 150 years. We have to use the correct tense of the word live. Let's look at a second example. Rinku and I to the cinema as planned earlier. We have to use the correct tense of the word go. 3. If we the map we would have reached the destination earlier. Use the correct tense of the word consult. So let's look at the first sentence. For 4 generations of his family in that house for over 150 years. Which would be the correct tense to use here for the word live? For generations of his family. In that house for over 150 years. It will be past perfect. Had lived. 4 generations of his family had lived in that house for over 150 years. Now, Rinku and I dash to the cinema as planned earlier. The correct tense of the word go. Rinku and I. So, something which was planned before, and what is going to happen? Are going. The third would be again, this will be past perfect. If we had consulted. Let's look at another couple of examples. People at the counter to buy tickets for the afternoon show since 10 a.m. today. QUE queue up. The right form of that. Now let's look at another one. The shed dash if the boy had not informed the fire force. We have to use the correct tense of burn down. Look at one more example. Award by the GUEST by the chief guest at the function tomorrow evening. We have to use the correct tense of present. Okay, now look at this this example. People dash at the counter to buy tickets for the afternoon show since 10 a.m. today. So since 10 a.m. people what would be that? It will be have been QUE queuing up. Have been queuing up at the center or at the counter to buy tickets for the afternoon show since 10 a.m. today. So the action had begun in the past, but it is still continuing. Now the shed dash if the boy had not informed the fire force. the shed. So something that happened if the boy had not informed the fire force. So the boy already informed the fire force. So what would come here? Burn down. Would have burned down. The shed would have burned down if the boy had not informed the fire force. All right. The next one, the award dash by the chief guest at the function tomorrow evening. So this is something which is going to happen in the future. So here what will we use? Something that is going to happen in the future. So it will you will always write will be presented by the chief guest at the function tomorrow evening. So these are the tenses. So whenever, see, the best way to find what tense is a particular sentence is in, you always understand by the context. So you look at what the sentence is telling you, or the or if it is a fill in the blanks, then you always look at what the sentence means or intends to tell you. Then you will be able to find the right tense forms. So the next comes something called a subject plus verb agreement. Subject plus verb agreement is something again that people confuse a little. So it is always which form of the verb that you should be using: have, had, has. Had always comes in the past. Has and have always come in present or future. Have always comes in present or future. Has is always in the present, and all that. And if every time a subject is singular, except for I, say any noun forms, or pronouns like he, she, it, they are always followed by the singular verb form, has or had. When it comes to plural nouns or pronouns, singular, plural noun or pronouns, that is usually they, those, etc., is always followed by have. Or if it is in past, it is irrespective of whether it is singular or plural, it is always had. Now, when you are using I is actually singular, but we will always use I with have. I plus have. Have or had. Never has. Again, when it comes to a group, a collective noun, something like, say, committee, team, group of, etc., they are always followed by again has or had. So these are basically to do with nouns and then subject verb agreements too. So whenever you are writing, you please be aware of this these nuances, the simple nuances. I, though it is singular, it's always followed by have or had, and then we, they, all of them followed by have or had. Have is in present, had is in had is in past. Collective nouns will always be followed by has or had. So I think that's it for now, folks, and next we will be looking at the degree of comparisons. That will be positive, comparative, and the superlative degrees of comparisons. Something like, good, better, best. Good is positive degree, comparative is better, superlative is best, or little is positive, comparative is less, superlative becomes least. We'll look at these things in detail in our next class. So until then, have a good time. Bye bye.